All right, James. You wanna do the intros this time? I'm thinking we're right about to hit 6:30.
Yeah.
James,
so
go ahead and introduce me, James.
no. So welcome back, everyone. This is our Columbus DJ podcast. This has been awesome each and every Thursday with me and DJAXCESS. This week we got DJ Brian DAZE. Is it Brian DAZE or can I just say DAZE? Because I saw it was...
Either one's fine. DAZE is fine.
And we've got Sergio, a.k.a. Surge, a.k.a. I got nothing. But two experienced DJs. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. What's up, guys?
Thank you.
Hello. Whoa.
Lots of different representation here. We got the club staple in Columbus, and then we got like sports, mobile, corporate over here. Brian, you do some clubs too, like some bars, right?
It's been a while, but yeah, I'm more of a fill-in role anymore than a residency anywhere for sure.
Nice. And Serge, when's the last time you did a mobile?
A lot of weddings, yeah.
Last time you did a mobile event where you had to like bring speakers and stuff?
16, buddy. 16.
Woo!
Wow.
Dang, man. And that's not 2000. Imagine.
Huh?
Well, let's start with
this. 2016.
Serge, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody where they can find you, how long you've been playing, and what you play.
Well, this was my first year. I've been doing this at least 20 years now. I play at Dahlia, Fireproof, BBR. I opened Mint, the Mints in Cincinnati. I've played in Vegas before. I had some residencies out there in 2005 and 6. And pretty much that's got into it when I was about 14, 15 years old. The music, man. I was all for the love of music.
I find it interesting because I've been with the company for several years, DJing with you now. And when I was over at Sugar Bar and stuff, I knew of you. I didn't think you hated me because I just didn't know you at all. But it was weird that I hadn't met you, but it was like, you were with this company, I was with this company. And it's just awesome to hear the stories of how much you did for the scene and for Peerless Group before I even knew who any of you guys were. And then, like you said, you were with Rich Group, right?
I was with Rich when he first started out. Him and Squigs, they call him. He's gonna probably be mad at me. Tony Martinez.
Now, are you talking about Lewis Rich?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is that how you got in Vegas, or?
No, actually, Chico is why I got in Vegas.
Okay.
That's right. I forgot.
He was managing me out there, so I was doing things with him out there. Got the House of Blues when I was at House of Blues out there. I did KLUC. It's just all about connections, man. When you go to some place like that, it's rubbing the right elbows, staying consistent, meeting new people, going out every night, and any city you move to.
No, that's definitely true. You can tell that the Vegas DJs that have consistent gigs, they all support each other and they all hang out. And like once you're in that circle, like as long as you don't do anything stupid, like I feel like you're good to go.
Serge, I have a similar story to James. I mean, you when I was coming up, like it was like I call you mystery man. Like you were like a legend. Like, man, you ever heard Serge play? Like, what? He plays here, does this, does that. And then like I remember first time I went to probably Mint at that time to hear you play, and I was like impressed and everything. You weren't like it was more like a lounge set than like a party thing, but a lot of DJs. Much respect for you, man. More so than you probably know.
I appreciate that.
But I also thought that you hated me when
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Maybe I give
So
that
I talked to
vibe.
her.
I don't know. I don't
I
know
got a
why I
similar
give
story
vibe
on that.
it.
Because I'm
Oh,
not
shoot,
from
what you got,
I'm
Brian?
not from Columbus, and so when I moved to Columbus and I started networking a little bit and meeting other DJs and going checking things out, they asked, "Have you met Surge yet?" I was like, "No, I haven't yet." And so they kind of told me where to go find you. So no, you got definitely a great reputation. That's for sure.
I appreciate that.
Tell us about your start into like the nightclub scene in Columbus, man. Like who were like your influences? How did you get started? You know,
I didn't have it. Influences growing up was Qbert. I didn't know how to mix. All I knew how to do was scratch. You know, you go get your records, you throw your instrumentals on, and you just cut over them all day. You know, and I had all those scratch pickle videos, and you know, those were my biggest idols growing up. And then when I came to Columbus, and this guy named Tracy gave me my first start, and I didn't know how to beat mix. I was playing a club with 2,000 people a night. I didn't know what beat mixing was. I was just up there kind of like Bombay, you know, like thinking like it was kind of like those house parties you played when you're 15, 16 years old, you know, and it was nothing like that. Now all eyes are on you, and you know you're basically in charge of 2,000 people to have fun, you know, and that's basically how I got on in the scene. But I've been, you know, I didn't really know about clubs, but when I started when I was like 14, I was obviously 15, doing school dances, borrowing mom and dad's speakers, house speakers to do weddings or, you know, school dances. My first school dance, I blew the speakers. School dance ended early. It was a short-lived school dance, but I guess they understood back then, you know, but from that, just meeting the right people after that to get my first start.
That's awesome. Brian, tell us a little bit about your DJ journey. You know, go ahead.
Yeah, my journey is kind of, I guess, unorthodox. I mean, I grew up on a farm in Indiana where there was no DJs around. I didn't even really know about DJing until I went to college 20 years ago at Ball State University. And my sister happened to be a bartender at the only dance club in town. And they were opening up like a Monday night promotion thing. And they just was looking for someone to play music. And she knew I had a bunch of CDs. And so she got me in there on Monday nights. And they had me train one night with a very experienced DJ who was not too welcoming and showing me how to DJ, which I don't really blame him. They kind of just threw me at him saying, "Hey, train this guy." I was like, "All right, well, this is how you turn the volume up and down." You're trained. So
Wow.
that's kind of how it started. But then, you know, I started doing Mondays, and it was, I mean, not big crowds for Mondays by any means, but, you know, I thought I was doing well. I didn't know any better. I just knew I was playing good music. The staff liked me because I took a lot of requests and just played what people wanted. And that's pretty much what they were looking for. And then I guess one day, another DJ from that club that stopped working there before I started, he came in and checked it out, and he's like, "You're new at this, aren't you?" So it's like, yeah, you know, honestly I am. And yeah, his name's DJ Cisco. He now DJs and produces out of Orlando, but he took the time to like show me what beat matching was, and you know, he even wrote down the BPMs in like the CD sleeves and stuff like that. So it's like, it was really nice having someone like that kind of mentor me, because without that, I would have gotten eaten alive when actually got in front of real crowds. But then towards the end of college, I was graduating. I got an internship in New York, as a director intern at Good Morning America. So I moved to New York City, quit DJing. I thought that was my real job, so I quit DJing and lived in New York for a while. And one of my biggest regrets is, you know, that's the mecca of hip hop right there. And I was too busy, you know, being an intern, you know, working on my future as far as television was concerned. And so I didn't go to the clubs or check out any of that scene. And so I regret that part of it. But I got to Columbus because after graduating college, I became a cameraman at ABC6 Fox 28 here in Columbus and kind of worked my way up to be a news producer. And then when I became a producer, I was off weekends again. So I was like, hey, got to get back to my love of DJing. And that's where I kind of really started networking with a lot of the guys, and everyone was so welcoming in this area. And it's crazy, the community that we have going on here. A lot of great guys that are willing to help. And so that's, that's kind of how I got started DJing here. Just going around, I was in a DJ battle. Like, I thought I was really good out of college. Like, hey, I know how to beat match. Like, that's the best I got. And I entered a battle, and I was very humbled by Ginsu. He happened to be in that battle. Dude, he ate me up. And but he was nice about it. I was the only one in there with like dual CD players, like the CDN 88, like the Newmark. And everyone else had turntables, and I was like, man, the only person I ever saw like growing up with turntables was like DJ Scribble on MTV. Like, that's the only real DJ I even knew back in the day. And so Ginsu was really nice afterwards. He probably doesn't even remember because we haven't really spoken much since then, but he was like, you got the basics down, but you really need to push yourself, in certain directions. He really advised me to buy some turntables and, really challenge myself. And I listened to him, and I bought a couple Tech 12s and started practicing and getting better, and, started networking with the right people, and got some bars, down. I think I was at Brick Street for a couple years. Rest in peace. But
shout out Ginsu. But yeah, I find it. So how many years have you DJ'd? Like, obviously you took a break there, but
I took a 4-year break, so 16 years total.
Nice.
All the experience on this episode, dude. Like, incredible. Brian, sorry, go ahead, James.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you nailed it. Like, with a lot of people that don't live in Columbus or look at our DJ scene don't realize how helpful and close we all are. There's a lot of DJ opportunity, and there's a lot of DJs in Columbus. There's a lot of very talented DJs in Columbus. And then you have the younger DJs who really don't understand what we're even talking about half the time, with like the history of how the scene shaped itself. So I think it's really important to share how helpful the DJ scene is when you come in and you try to learn something. But yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's one of the reasons I love doing this. And Brian, we've known each other for a long time. We've had tons of conversations about DJing, this, that, the other. And I knew very little about what you said in the intro. Didn't know you were into New York. I knew you grew up in Indiana. Didn't know I was on a farm. Didn't know you went to Ball State. Didn't know you were a news producer. So that's one more reason why I love doing this stuff, man. But the only thing I can't believe you didn't mention is like where you're at now, man. Like playing 100,000 people at Ohio State, 25,000 people at Nationwide Arena for the Blue Jackets. What's it like just showing up, setting up your turntables, and looking at all those people and picking songs?
Man, there's not one event that I go to that I'm not nervous. I mean, I don't know. I always have like the pregame jitters, but as soon as that first song plays and everything's okay, I'm in my zone then. But like, cool. You can't even fathom with 105,000 people at Ohio Stadium. Like, my brain can't comprehend that many people. Like, I just look out and see, there's a bunch of people here. But yeah, it's pretty insane. It's definitely beyond what I ever thought I would ever do. That's for sure. This is between them and the Blue Jackets, and then I DJ for the Columbus Clippers as well. So sports is my life. Like, in college, I was trying to be a sports analysis. They're someone for ESPN doing Sports Center. Like, sports was my life growing up, and so to be able to DJ for sports, because my athletic ability is not capable of sticking with sports, to be able to DJ sports is like the next best thing. And I couldn't imagine a better situation right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. So are you guys now, Mike, is that what you did a couple times for the football team?
Yep. So Brian and I work together just because our wedding schedules are typically, we both work almost every Saturday in the fall for weddings. So just depending on the timing of those weddings and where they fall, Brian and I kind of flip and go back and forth, which I think is cool because, it gives us more opportunities to do more things and, having someone to back you up. I know, Brian, the first couple games, you and I went back and forth on like, what worked, did you play this? Right. Like, how crazy was it? What was the setup like? So it's just nice having someone in there, like, to ask questions and to get a vibe, because we're the first DJs to do that. So there's no, I can't go on YouTube and search. And that's actually something I'm looking to do, is like be able to put out some kind of content. Like, how do you perform in these places? But there's nothing on YouTube. Like, how do you perform in front of 100,000 people, 20,000 people, whatever?
I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
So just having Brian there to bounce ideas back and forth, it was really, really helpful.
I remember when they first announced that they were going to have a DJ and do some occasional things, that there was a lot of criticism on Twitter on at least the sports accounts that I follow. And I just, even though I know that they were talking about you, because you had announced, Mike, that you guys were about to do that. And I'm reading these sports accounts, like my Ohio State ones I follow, because I'm a big Ohio State fan. And everyone's just like, oh, gosh, no, best damn band in the land is all we need and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't know that DJ.
We got eaten up, man. And then, like, I remember a sports talk, the fan here in town, they ate us up all day on the radio. And then after the first game, you never heard anything about it ever again.
Good.
Because they realized how good.
It was all positive.
Yes. Yeah. It was all good, good feedback.
Yeah. Maybe they just didn't understand what it was all about and how you guys were going to do it. But
yeah, people just don't like change, man.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, everything was positive after that. I mean, you guys know what happened with the Wisconsin game. I think even T-Bone is who you're talking about, with the sportscaster who was ripping us up at the beginning of the season, and then sent out a tweet that's like, everything I said about the DJ is wrong. This was awesome.
Yeah, he did say that.
That was a nice.
He said it on air. I remember when he said that.
So good on him for like admitting that. But yeah, what you got, James?
So obviously you guys are pretty frustrated with, you guys aren't going to be in there playing this year, but hopefully, that'll change. But do you guys think that there's going to be college football, and do you think that there's going to be fans in the stands?
No fans.
None at all.
I don't think there's going to be fans.
Do you want to answer that, Brian?
I'm optimistic about it. I think it'll be maybe half capacity, maybe a little less. I'm looking maybe 20 to 30,000 is kind of what I've heard. But we'll see. I mean, everything changes so quickly. You really can't predict that.
Right. I was right there with you, Brian, on that. And then I start seeing like every day, it seems like you hear some more news about whether it's like a football team's got 10 new people that tested positive, or there's a new spike in some area. So like you said, it could change anytime. Hopefully you're right, though.
Yeah, maybe I'm just naive as far as being how optimistic I am, because sports is what I do. And
well, there's going to be college football.
My Blue Jacket season ended early. My Clipper season hasn't even started yet. And then, Ohio State, I got to have something. I'm dying over here without any gigs.
Yeah, I understand that. I got a question for Surge. So, you've been doing a lot of gigs, similar gigs in different areas since I've known you. A lot of open format, leaning hip hop. We went to Miami to study for Fireproof, and I know that you were really excited about it. We went to Baoli to check out their music concepts, and then you started doing a lot of your own music research for Fireproof, and you started putting it together. Talk about how nice it has been to switch it up and play like deep house and like, you know, and going again away from your normal open format sets?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like challenges. So any genre I can dig into and learn more about, and you know, challenge myself to, you know, make a different playlist, or any ways to like spice up a set. You know, I do those kind of mixers, or like 80s, you know, the Fleetwood Macs, the Luther Vandross is like over, you know, an up tempo beat, where disco, you know, all that stuff. You don't hear that stuff anywhere anymore. You know, when somebody walks in, I want them to be, you know, we have an older clientele there, you know, that eat there, and they probably want, oh, wow, this is refreshing. You know, you don't go to you don't go to different bars and hear 70s anymore. You just don't, it don't exist. So I just felt it was something to challenge myself again, and actually to find stuff like that with not just originals, but more of I would say like a dinner club vibe, if you want to say.
For sure.
It's been awesome to see like people just kind of bouncing around, eating. A couple people will get up and dance occasionally.
Yeah.
And then I remember you saying, we've always taken our DJs over there to eat before they come over to Dahlia to play. And I remember you saying how DJ Vice was in there eating, and he came up to you and he was just like, look, man, like I really respect what you were playing. Like the library that you were playing was like next level. That's got to feel good when somebody acknowledges the work that you're putting in.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people look up to him too, as like, you know,
oh yeah,
the club guy right now. You know, is like open format. Obviously, does everything too, but he's another guy that he can take you through every genre. You know, he can. I like to say musical journeys. You like to take those people all over the place and make their night unforgettable. You know.
One thing that I know when I've been to Fireproof, it's almost like you're known. Like I think some of the customers who come there often kind of know you for playing like this really dope Game of Thrones remix, which I get excited about when you play. And it seems like you play it like a decent amount there. So props for that. And if you guys haven't checked it out, check out Surge at Fireproof. But I want to go a little bit deeper, man, because I know how hard you guys studied, where you went to kind of come up with that theme. So what restaurants did you guys look at, and then how did you take what you guys got from them and then bring it to Columbus? Because it's not the same. Like the places you guys were going in Miami and Vegas, it's not the same. You guys had to kind of make it Columbus. Tell us about that process, if you could, please.
Well, the only place that we really went to was Bioli, James, right? Like that was the only place, like the dinner spot that we really were looking at.
But we were going there not just for the music. We did pick off some musical ideas from that, but it was more also just their small plates and like the vibe in general. But like you said, I'll let Surge speak on it, but Fireproof had adapted to Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, when you bring a new concept like that, you go to Chicago, you go to New York, you go to Miami, like these dinner clubs exist. You know, we're trying to stay with them as far as the music, but you got to like kind of spin it to, like I said, our 70s, our 80s, and kind of appeal it more to the crowd that you see in there. Sometimes you have to switch it up, you know. It's not going to always be 100% the set in stone, you know, like I'm only going to play this song this night and this is all I'm going to play, you know. You have to go with what's there. It isn't just, hey, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
Nice. Actually, you guys, Brian, you mentioned like COVID through through talking about Ohio State and bringing football back. I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. We asked if like kind of in the middle of quarantine with Ginsu and someone else who I forget, I think Leak, were they wearing masks at their shows? And we talked about, were they going to wear masks? And, you know, we talked about some yes, some no. Now that we're in the reopening, we see some of these cases going up in some places. Are you guys wearing masks at your gig, and why? Why yes or why no?
Surge, you want to go first?
Let's go with
or whatever you guys want.
Brian. No, you started it, girl. You got to go now.
No, okay. Well, because I don't have sports, I really don't have any gigs. I have my first wedding is next month. But yeah, I plan on wearing a mask. I mean, I have, you know, I created a logo mask that I can wear, and for Ohio State, I have an Ohio State mask, and jackets, I have a jackets mask. Like, so I try to customize it for the gig. And I mean, just going out, yeah, I mean, at the grocery store, I wear a mask. I mean, I take it pretty seriously still.
And do you have a plan for, like, when you are back at weddings, you know, passing the mic from here to there, or have you given any thought to, like, how you're going to handle that?
I haven't put too much thought into it, but I do know, like, I have some friends that host, like, karaoke night. They have, you know, these cheap mic covers that are very disposable, and I mean, they're very affordable. So that's kind of the plan, is to get some disposable mic covers, pass them to person, I guess. Wipe off the mic in between.
That's good idea.
James, what do you got going on? Like, what's happening at Dahlia on the weekends? I know most staff are wearing masks. How are DJs wearing masks? What's going on?
Yeah, all the staff's wearing masks. The DJs have been wearing masks, but I started using the mic a lot more, and it is very hard to talk into a mic with a mic with the mask on. So sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, but for the most part, all the staff is wearing masks. Not so much our customers, but that's an option. Of course, they can wear masks, but yeah, man, I just like Brian. When I go to the grocery store, when I go out anywhere, I always have it on me. I'm always wearing it. I think it's going to be normal for a long time. At first, I was a little uncomfortable with it because, you know, I just never wore a mask out. But then I realized how serious it was, and I did my research on, you know, how it's exactly spreading is, you know, the nasal and mouth, the sneezing, the coughing and stuff. So, you know, the gloves are different. I have a different opinion on the gloves. I think washing your hands is very important. I'm not going to go wear gloves everywhere, but I think the mask is like a automatic.
Have you heard of people wearing gloves? That's new to me. Or are you guys hearing that, like, between DJs who maybe play back to back or switch up, or people wearing gloves? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I haven't heard any.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. Surge, what about you?
I don't wear a mask.
Cool.
I mean, in the booth, our booth's already social distancing as enough.
Yeah.
BBR social distancing, fireproof. So, I mean, there's nobody around me anyways.
That's true. The Dahlia one is the only one that would be near a bunch of people.
Are they selling that VIP space still?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They have it set up. They have the whole venue set up to be they have the glass walls, or whatever that glass is, tempered glass. And then they have all the tables either 6 feet away, or they have the dividers. So it's pretty nice.
James. Yeah, James, I had a similar experience to you, man. I was at Food Hall this past Saturday, and, you know, walked in with the mask, you know, doing my thing. I don't find them too uncomfortable, at least the one that I have. And then, you know, drink one, take the mask off, have your drink, put the mask back on, drink two, take the mask off, have your drink, put it back on, drink three, mask off, and it didn't go back on. And I talked to one of my physician friends who's, like, really studying up on this. Like, all she does is, you know, post data from stuff. And so I had a conversation with her, like, yo, I can't be the only one who's experiencing this. Like, I understand that, you know, taking off the mask is dangerous, whatever. But, like, what do you suggest? And she just said to wear it as much as possible. And I think with the industry that we're in, COVID hits DJs the hardest. We're gonna, you know, when they shut down, we were like the last to open up. We just got dancing back a week and a half ago. So that's where I'm at in my mindset. Just like, I don't want this to go away again. So if they say that, and, you know, I'm fairly into conspiracies as well. But if, you know, the status quo is, hey, if 80% of people wear masks, this goes away, I can subscribe to that and try my best, right? I still think drinking with a mask is annoying, but I just wanted to get everyone's opinion and hear different, just different opinions on it, because stuff's everywhere, man. The information's all over the place.
Surge, your boyfriend Zona just joined us.
Oh, nice. What's up, Zona?
Hey, Zona. Hey.
Actually, Serge, I want to ask you about Zona listed you as one of his mentors. What was it like kind of taking him through DJing? Like, what was he good at? What was he not good at? And like, how were you able to help?
Probably music programming. I mean, that's key. Reading rooms. You can mix, you know. I don't really need to learn scratching. It's almost a lost art in the nightclubs now.
Sure.
But yeah, I think most often it's all music programming, reading crowds. Make
Maybe you could talk about like, some music program looks different for each DJ, right? So how do you coach someone on music programming when their style might not be the same as yours? Or do you think a nightclub DJ, like most nightclub DJs, should be playing similar music?
As far as the night, like different nights, I mean, obviously, like James has nights where he's playing different music, but for the most part, or those shows that you guys do on Friday night or something, or you'll be a part of, you're gonna keep the genre that whatever the night is. But as far as like open format, I think you should be able to do everything. You should be able to touch on each genre, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's
just
what
to
makes
have that
it
in your
fun.
bag in case you need it. Yeah.
That's what makes open format such a fun challenge, is you have no idea what you're going to do. Now, there's other spots. Dahlia Saturdays, you kind of know what you're diving into. That's an open format spot. But, if Fireproof was to walk in, all of Fireproof was to walk into Dahlia afterwards, you have to be ready to switch it up, But that's why, playing like an electronic set on a Friday night, like Serge is talking about, is fun because you get to switch it up. But it's almost like you already know what you're doing because of the show of that night. So it's like you already know what few genres you're going to
keep
play.
your phone off. We're on the internet.
What?
Keep your phone off. We're on the internet.
Your phone keeps going off.
My phone does?
Somebody's phone just beeped. Put it away.
It was mine.
We're on the Zoom.
Yo,
Sorry,
Brian,
I'm on the Zoom.
You just celebrated Father's Day this past Sunday. So happy Father's Day for that, man.
Thank you.
We've had a couple DJ dads on the podcast. I think BK was the one who probably has had like the most interaction with his son kind of getting interested in music until you got on here, because I know Maddox, if I can say his name, he's had a first gig and practices with you and showed interest. So me, I want to know about that, man.
Yeah, it's like a dream come true, as far as like someone that's, wanting to learn, that can take on the family business sort of thing. It's kind of been a struggle at first because all he wants to do is like mess with the effects and that type of stuff. And I'm just trying to get him to understand, all right, this is how you match beats up. This is the downbeat. This is, smooth transitions from song to song. And so once he started getting that, it's gotten a lot better. I mean, we've only done, we did a Sweet 16 together, which was great because he was obviously able to relate to that demographic a lot better than me. But at the same time, what you guys were talking about earlier is just trying to be well-versed in other genres, because not only were there teenagers at that party, there were also parents and uncles and that type of stuff. And so while he was trying to stick to like new hip hop, I was like, hey, let's try, a Motown hit or something like that here and there. And so we were able to learn quite a bit from that. But it's kind of a struggle. He's not sure if he's more interested in DJing or Fortnite right now. So That's the battle we got. He wants to be a Twitch star at Fortnite, and like, well, I'm doing Twitch downstairs in the garage. Like, you can come down and learn some DJing while you're learning some, Twitch skills as well. So, yeah, just trying to maintain the interest is difficult at that age.
That's interesting.
Fortnite's still going strong.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah, me too. So he has a great opportunity if he continues working hard. There's a gig lined up down the road that he could, definitely get. So I'm hoping he sticks with it.
Is there anything that you're doing to kind of make sure that you're not, it sounds bad, but pushing your style on him, or like,
No.
You're being mindful of, okay, if he wants to only play hip hop, like that's up for him. Obviously he's got to conform to the gig. What, are you doing anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, like he recorded his first mixtape, I don't know, a month or two ago. And, I told him, this isn't a gig. You put whatever songs you want on there. That's fine. But yeah, I am trying to be cautious about not even pushing him towards DJing too hard. It's like, listen, if you're interested, I'm here for you. If you're not, that's fine too. Do what you have passion for. I just hope it's not, playing Fortnite the rest of his life. So
yeah.
But
unless it gets big on Twitch, man, those guys, Ninja,
those
all
guys,
those guys make some decent.
What a life!
Yeah,
that would be a life.
So what's your guys' all-time favorite show that you've done? Obviously, Brian, I can't imagine what it'd be like to do the Buckeye game, but think of something else maybe, because we already know that's amazing.
I'll go to
Surge first. Yeah, I'll go to Surge first. Think about another one though that you might like, but
mine would have to be either one, opening for AM, or two, being able to do a 2x4 with DJ Riz from Cloak & Clan.
Wow, Riz from Riz and Sis?
From Cloak & Clan.
Yeah.
Oh,
way back.
So this was at Mint, and it was actually on my birthday, and I got to do a 2x4 with him. That was awesome. It was awesome.
Dude.
Where was AM at? Mint too? Was AM at Mint?
AM was at Sugar and then Mint. Yeah. So I did both times.
What was it like going 2x4 with Riz and Scissorhands?
Well, Scissorhands wasn't there. It was just Riz.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I mean, they're talking about another guy in the industry that his music knowledge is just crazy. I mean, I know he's played Super Bowl parties before that I've been at, and one night will be like the hoodest hip hop. The next night he's playing 70s and 80s. And I think that's great when any DJ can do that. And it could be any genre. If a DJ wants to play electro all one night, and then next night he has a gig and plays all hip hop, and next night he has a gig where he plays 70s, 80s, whatever he needs, 90s, whatever he wants to do, and can incorporate all that. I mean, and then you got the best of every world and you can put it together. That's also great. But yeah, Riz is, I think that guy's a mastermind at what he does. One of my favorite open format guys to watch.
Those were the good Crooklyn Clan days.
Yeah,
for sure.
Before we go to Brian, Serge, I'm curious. Let's go with like a typical Friday, Saturday open format night at either BBR or Dahlia. What percentage of the music that you play do you enjoy?
I enjoy all of it. Honestly,
good.
I really do. I like putting that puzzle together any night I'm DJing. I always feel like I have more of a little bit of Latin flair in a lot of my sets. Just very, I guess like the spice on my set is kind of the Latin feeling. Open format, anything like that, I'm down with anything. Like I said, you put that puzzle together and you see the crowd vibing to what you're doing, I'll eat that up. I just try not to stay in one particular genre too long, because then I feel like it just becomes stale. Everyone's just out there like, okay, this is the 7th hip hop song. I don't care if it's hit after hit after hit after hit. It does not. People are they're gonna get tired.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of DJs that, you know, they play open formats and it's like, oh man, music sucks now and this, that, and the other. And I was curious if you're like that, but that's awesome that you enjoy
it's not right. It's not whether I think it sucks or not. I mean, whether music is good or bad, there's bad times in the 90s, there's bad times in the 2000s, or we go through these spurts of music, but that's not whether we don't get to say that. Our job is to play for what the people like, you know. We're getting paid to play other people's music and what they listen to, and whatever they listen to is what we're playing, you know. And we have to find a way to put that puzzle together and make them have a good night out of it.
Yeah, that Justin Bieber Yummy, it took me a minute to find a way to play that in the club, I'll tell you that much.
Didn't your boy Scene make a decent remix of that?
Probably.
I think Scene has one out of that.
But yeah, Brian, you've been thinking about a gig that you like?
Well, I guess it wasn't the biggest gig by any means, but it was one that I was very proud of by the end of the night. It was called the Midwest Rage, which was a kind of a festival type of thing with about 6 DJs, and I knew several of them from college, and they kind of set up the rotation of how we go up there, and everyone is supposed to have one set, and they put me up first because I think they still kind of remembered me from back in college, where I just knew some very, very basic stuff, and they put me up first to kind of let me warm up the crowd. And then I did so well on that, like I kind of caught them off guard, that they brought me back to open up for the headliner later that night. And so it was kind of a nice feeling of redemption of being able to improve enough to kind of have your peers respect on that. So
that's awesome. Now, go ahead, Crop.
No, it was awesome that he in one day made an impression to where the same show they brought him back on over for the headliner. That's some respect right there.
And Brian, I know how your nerves can sometimes get to you. Like, was it nerve-wracking, like for them to surprise you with like a set right before the headliner, or you were already warmed up so it didn't matter?
I was warmed up. I mean, I felt good, and after my first set, I felt really proud of that set, and I was just like, all right, let's do it. Like I was kind of on a high already, and I was ready to go.
Awesome. Hey, James, you want to take us through show and tell?
Yeah. First of all, I just started thinking about, because you said the word nervous, and every time I'd sarcastically ask Surge if he's nervous, because he always would tell me how he's nervous. And I didn't know how sarcastic Surge was, but when I first met him, everyone's like, no, he's fucking with you. I'm like, oh, no.
The whole time.
Yeah, but anyway, all right, guys, so this is a little segment that I put together for the podcast, something to just go off topic. Show and tell, basically exactly what it is, just like old times in school. It could be DJ related, it could be non-DJ related, just something that's significant to you. If you have anything laying around the house, or, now's the time to go grab it.
Brian, you got to walk down all those steps.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of steps in the arena, so it's going to take me a second. No, I can go first since I already had something ready. And Mike probably doesn't know this about me either, but this is my it's hard to see. Oh no, my background.
Gotta cut the green.
There we go.
It's my bowling trophy that I won recently. When I was at Ball State, I was also on the Ball State bowling team, and so I'm an avid bowler. I still bowl to this day, as far as in the league. Once the pandemic started, stopped obviously, but yeah, I'm in a weekly bowling league, and it's something I enjoy to do outside of DJing.
Have you ever bowled a perfect game?
Nope, I've been in the 280s, but not a perfect game.
Okay.
I'm still looking for that.
And see, I did know about your bowling habit because you be I'd be trying to schedule you for wedding meetings, and I can't do that on what is it, Mondays?
It was
I
on
did know about
Tuesdays.
bowling.
I can't do Tuesday
Tuesdays.
meetings.
But congratulations on the trophy, man. You didn't tell me about that, so congratulations.
Oh, no.
We should get a big DJ group to go. It'd be fun.
That's a great idea. We actually did that one time for one of the DJ dinners. It was pretty well attended. We got like 15 people.
Wow.
I missed the DJ dinners, and we were talking to Gonzo about that. We used to go to Winking Lizard and stuff. We need to try to do that again.
Go ahead and set that up, man.
Post.
I will.
I think it's a lot easier. Let's get them on the
setting it up and no
podcast
one
first
coming.
from their own home before we try.
Oh, you were the setting them all up? Man,
I
now
set
I
up a
feel
couple
bad.
of them, and like 3 people came. I was like, man, I'd reserve a table for 20, and 3 people would come.
It was always.
I remember specifically some of them going really well, though. A few of them. At least.
Oh yeah, there were some.
Yo,
fun
guys, before we go to Surge, I got to give a big shout out to one of my mentors, Rod Randall of Buckeye Sounds. If you had a bar bat mitzvah in the 2000s, that dude probably helped you out. Does weddings, and that's as far as like what I did business wise when I was coming up. Rod had a major hand. He'll tell you that he taught me everything I know on the scratching and mixing stuff. I don't know if that's as accurate, but definitely helped me out with the business. So big shout out, Rod. Thanks for being here, man. Surge, show and tell, please.
Well, I'm going to take us back to the day.
Uh-oh.
Does anybody know what this is?
Ooh. I don't know what that is. Is that an effects board?
That's the EFX 500.
Dang.
So this was the jog wheel where you could wah-wah your sounds up. So basically this is by Pioneer. These are all the effects that the Pioneer mixer has. But it's kind of like the where we got the S9 now. Mm-hmm. This is which basically you would hook this up into the Pioneer. Scribble had one of these. He played on this all the time when he played out, but like you can like tap in your BPM and lock it. And that's how I used to do transitions. So you lock the echo in and then you can wah-wah the echo up on that count. And it can just go higher and higher and it'll go forever until you turn it off.
Now, did you have to route that through like the sends and ins on the back of the music?
Yeah, it's send and return.
MIDI.
It's send and return. Yeah. No, that's why the Pioneers have sends and returns in them. So you have to run this through the send and return, out and in.
You got to bring that out, dude. Let's have some fun.
Man, yeah, you talk about like doing the effects on this. It's got all the same effects like the jet, zip, wah, ring, fuzz, flanger, pan, echo, and you can also cut out the bass and the mids of the effect also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a filter in there.
Yeah.
The NX2 has that now, I think.
Oh yeah, well you cut. Yeah, you're right. So
Surge, like when you
had already had those.
When you were like cutting and stuff, would you use that at all to affect your scratches and stuff, or just when you're mixing?
No, just when I was mixing or changing tempos, because let's say one that I like to do a lot was like Holler Back Youngin', right? And I would tap in the tempo of Holler Back Youngin', and let's say I echo it on back, and I could do it on a 1 count. But now because I would tap the beat in of the Daft Punk song, right? So let's just say it's 120. So now the echo will start at 120. As soon as I hit the word back, it's at 120 now, and it'll run for 120, and you slowly just keep on wahing it up, and you drop that beat over it. So like this is back, like 2000 when that sound was big, like big sounding stuff, as far as like epicness. And I don't know, it was very fun to play with, but I don't think people have the patience for that anymore. As far as like, man, like people would be like, "Oh, come on, just play the song."
That's awesome.
Do you think there is a place for performance DJing in the club right now, Surge, at all?
Like scratching and stuff like that?
Just we could, anything. So wordplay, scratching,
Definitely.
just
Sure.
anything
Yeah.
creative mixing. We call it creative mixing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still think there's stuff like that, but I also say less is more. You know, keep it simple. A lot of people don't understand when you're up there cutting and stuff. If you're sitting there and scratching for a minute, I mean, I always say 80% of people don't even know what you're doing up there.
Mm-hmm.
You could have your pants off back there, you know, and having Spotify, they don't know what you're doing. They have no clue.
Yeah, that's evident when they request songs that they have either no idea what you're doing or just no respect for it.
Yeah, can't you get that song? Don't you got the internet? Download off the Wi-Fi.
Plug in my phone.
Plug in your phone. I just take the phone and put it on the turntable. That doesn't work.
I don't mind when there's like scratching like 2 or 3 times in an hour and a half set. Like a lot of DJs will start their intros off if they do like an intro, and then they'll do like a couple quick routines, like very quick, to where you can tell that they're manipulating it live, but then they're still playing the song, you know.
Yeah, but you're someone that's gonna notice that. Mike's someone that's gonna notice that. Brian's someone that's gonna notice that. Like if we go listen to a DJ, those are one of the things that we'll pull out of that set. But for those people on the dance floor, just that actually are not going there, that are just there, right? At any club, they're not gonna notice what they're doing.
Right.
Does that make sense? You know, as we're standing there watching them, we'll be like, oh yeah, you hear that cut he did, or you know, whatever.
Well, like you said, you don't want to be stuck playing a genre for so many songs in a row. I think you understand that people's attention spans are so short.
Very short. Very short.
Guys, I got it. So we get Petey to take a video feed from the DJ booth and project it over the video screen at Dolly.
I know. We've been trying to do it.
Oh, really? That's a real thing?
No, we've literally we brought this up like at least 5 times since Dolly's been open. I'm not sure how it hasn't happened.
You know the magic number's 10. You got to bring it up 10 times in the meeting before you.
We had Bad Boy Bill was scheduled to do his tour with Richard Vision, and we were gonna do their vinyl and do the GoPro from the top, and Peter was gonna set it up, but I don't know what happened with that. But it'd be cool because, you know, Peter's good at what he does, so he'd be able to go back and forth from the stream.
It's my favorite segment time. We call this tips for listeners. I'm really adamant about it being like something that DJs haven't heard before, right? So everyone knows, you know, to practice. Everyone knows to be professional. You know, you guys have almost 40 years in the game between you. I want to hear some tips that maybe DJs haven't heard before. They don't get enough light. And Brian, can we go to you first? Just tips for DJs that they haven't heard before.
Yeah, I mean, as far as you're 12 episodes in now, I'm trying to think of
Good
things
luck.
that haven't already been said. But I mean, I would say for me, my biggest mistake younger is having a bit of an ego. Maybe I wasn't cocky per se, but as far as like, hey, you know, I've got a set that I'm playing. I don't want to hear any requests, you know, especially starting out. It's listen to your crowd. That's how you understand what they want. I mean, until you're good enough to really read the crowd, you know, you need to listen to them a little bit and take requests as it's not about you. It's, you know, about the crowd, and be able to adjust appropriately. I mean, just lose the ego is my biggest thing. I know a lot of starting out DJs that kind of think they're top stuff, and they have a lot to learn.
So I'm gonna push you a little bit more, because we have had some people say, you know, to not have an ego at the beginning, but maybe you mentioned reading the room. What are you actually looking for when you say read the room? Because read the room is like a big, like, it means all this stuff. So what are you actually looking for when you read the room?
Well, I'm kind of looking for, you know, demographics, age, that type of stuff, but also, you know, what are they dancing to and what are they not? As I you know, play a track that I think is going to work, and for some reason, you know, half the crowd isn't digging it, I got to dump in, you know, I got to adjust and find something that I think will work. And then once you find kind of that sweet spot, I mean, you still got to be able to adjust throughout the night, but you kind of know what crowds, you know, what sections want to hear what type of music, and then other people want to hear a different type. I mean, that's kind of how I read it as.
Cool. Corrupt, you happy with that?
Yeah, I would say, like, you know, the whole ego thing goes along with, like, just if you're an up and coming DJ, especially a younger DJ, you should not be stubborn about anything, whether it's taking requests, reading, opening up your library, or taking advice from another DJ. Just don't have an ego to any of that stuff, because I've been humbled many times through sometimes I still am, you know, and I love it. Like, that's part of the journey for me, is like, I don't want to say I like being wrong, because that's definitely not it, but I like just knowing that, like, as soon as I think I have something figured out, somebody's checks me, and I love that.
Mm-hmm. That magic's good for that.
To go on to that, also, as far as, like, you know, don't feel like you've already peaked at, like, how good you're going to get. Like, I remember getting my first subscription to, like, Funky Mix. I was like, oh, this is the magic pill. Like, this is perfect. And then, like, I think it was back-to-back weekends. I don't know if you've heard of him, but DJ Indiana Jones was somebody I looked up to in the Indianapolis scene, and he wrote on my clipboard, like, I had a request list that hung from the back of my DJ booth. He just said, you know, keep practicing. And then Paul Bunyan wrote, like, you know, learn to mix. And I was like, shit. So,
not the most constructive.
but you know, they're right. They're right. I thought I was good. I mean, granted, I was DJing at the only dance club on campus, so, like, it was sold out every night. I was like, when I started, I was the only 18-year-old on campus that could even go to the bar. And so I thought I was, you know, cock diesel, and all of a sudden I'm just getting hammered. I'm like, yeah, you need.
That's
you
good
need to
that
be
you took that criticism, though, man. You know, you took it and spun it. But those funky mixes, man, and X mixes were gold. We talked to Gonzo a little bit about that.
Yeah, we did.
I waited for those every month, man.
Dude, I used them all. I abused them.
Mm-hmm.
How about you,
All right,
Serge?
Serge. Tips for listeners, bud.
What's that?
Tips for listeners.
I would say one of my tips is probably try to stay. I use my prepare bin a lot. All right. If you're using Serato, I think it's an essential that you use that. It's kind of like pulling the records out back in the day. You know, you used to turn around and pull the records out, kind of like knowing where you want to go with it. And I would also say, be 3 songs ahead, be 3 steps ahead of what you want to do. Write your story, you know, like Brian's talking about switching up the music and knowing your crowd and what you want to do. And I also think that goes along with staying 3 songs ahead. If you're going to play song A, you know, you want to go A, B, C, but now how you gonna get there, right? To make it make sense to what you're looking at. So, you know, I would say try to stay 3 songs ahead, knowing what you're gonna do. Make sense of what you're doing.
That makes a lot of sense too. If you're gonna be doing a lot of quick transitions, you know, you want to make sure that you know how to find your music quickly, and just like you said, if you're telling a story and you're going to go all over the place, BPM and genre, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I always say you don't even have to mix. You know, you can be a great DJ and don't even mix any song. But if you play the right songs at any point in the night, you know, that's what everyone's going to remember. You know, going back to people don't even know what you're doing up there. You know, you slam every single song, but it's at the right time at the right time and at the right point of every night. You're good. You know, no one's gonna look any differently on you.
Yes, Serge. That's good. I don't think anyone's mentioned the prepare kit or staying 3 songs ahead. I want to ask you though, when you use the prepare kit, different DJs do it different ways, right? So some people, they'll be in their folders, they'll might see a song, they'll look out at the crowd and say, okay, not yet. And then they'll drag it in the prepare folder and they'll kind of build a list that way. And then I know other DJs that will, you know, maybe they have a playlist, which is like must plays. And it's maybe a list of like the 20 hottest songs right now. And, you know, they'll go into that and first thing in the night, they'll take that must plays and they'll hit them in the prepare folder so they don't miss any. Do you have a preference on which way you use, or is it just fluid?
Mine's fluid. I don't have any must plays or this needs to be played ASAP or these are the hits or whatever. It's all on the top of my head. You know, like I'll look at the crowd, see what I want to do, and then prepare. So it just goes start like that, and then I'll knock them down one by one. You know, and if I leave some songs up there, so what? Maybe that's another starting point for another set later in the night. If not, then I don't use it.
Sure.
You know,
and that's something I meant to go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's something I wanted to mention when I was introing you, but I think Krupp took care of it, is that you were probably one of the fastest mixers easily in Columbus and probably in the region that I know of, just with respect to like how long you keep a song in. Krupp, would you agree with that? Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, region, I don't know, because I don't know all the DJs, but definitely in Columbus, I learned that from you. I mean, you taught me how to quick transition with proper set flow. I think that's important too. You know, you don't want to just be quick and making, you know, you can make some super short edits too. There's a lot that I've learned from Surge, especially with, and I've learned a lot of non-tech stuff from Surge as well, is how savvy and aware I have to be of how quickly music evolves. I think that's really important to understand is people's attention span is short in the club and it's short outside the club, and the music's constantly changing. So, you know, yeah, like you said, we might have some crappy new releases that we have to download, but then the next week there could be 2 that are going to stay for the next year, you know?
Yeah.
You just have to be ready.
Actually, I want to stay with Surge. I forget, I think it was Gonzo was mentioned, no, maybe Bombay mentioned it last week, that you have some of the best edits in the game. And I can say that as well, man. I'm not going to say who gave it to me, but I copped a version of your Make It Bounce Surge edit. And so I have that. I play it all the time. I know I would love some more. The DJs last week mentioned that. You used to sell your edits, man. All right, I know you got away from it. Is there a reason? Is there a place that you put those? And maybe like your reasoning behind not putting them out?
I put them in my computer and my computer only. and this just goes back to back in the day when I was doing it, there was vinyl still being pressed, right? And people were still doing turntables. People were still, Serato was fairly new. Where people, it wasn't accessible. But now with everything so accessible and you can play like how I play, we all have the same music, you know, we're all playing the same kind of music. But if I can have something that sets me apart from other people, I'll gladly take that into my night, knowing that I have that piece, you know, as far as, you know, like the Conga Shake, remember that? That was like a monster mashup that Steve Wonder did. I think it was Steve Wonder. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The
Was it on Kirkland Clan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's basically Gloria Estefan over the Kulo beat, right?
Right.
And like that was like
that was a big one.
Everybody had that, and that was one of, you know, was talking to him as like that was one of his most secret weapons, and I think that was like one of the highest selling mashups ever sold on when that site was around. And he, you know, one of the things he said was he just stopped selling it because something that was probably so big for him and it worked so well at all these clubs he was playing in Vegas, and now hundreds of people get to use this edit, right? So they're not going to say, oh, that was the DJ Surge edit. No one's going to say that, you know? They're going to say, oh, no, Corrupt played it or Mike Sloan played it, you know? And it's no longer associated with me. I mean, I've had people say, play that one No Diggity mix or something. Well, they can't go to any other place and ask for that, you know? I did it. Like, that's the only way you're going to hear it. And you kind of want that nostalgia for yourself, you know? It has nothing to do with hiding it. I mean, though, I can share edits all day. I mean, short edits, whatever. But as far as like taking something that you make, and some of the edits that you make, only you know how to use them, right?
Right.
And if I give them to you, you misuse them. And I always say they're tools and they're not rules. You don't play these as songs. They're supposed to be tools to get you, maybe you need a little shake up sometimes, or this energetic mix you need, or whatever it may be. And you go from there. But you don't play it. Some stuff you just can't play every night. You can't play this stuff every night. It has to be the right time, you know. Is the crowd ready for it? You know, like you were talking about the Game of Thrones. Like, I don't play that every night, you know? I don't think you can. People walk in there and they expect it, but I don't want them expecting it. I want them taking like, whoa, what was that, right?
Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
I think that one of the key things you said is everything is very accessible. A lot of the top edits on these music sites, everyone's playing, so it's great to have your own edits. But I think there's also two sides of this, because I know I keep a lot of my own edits for myself as well, just like he does. But I also release edits for people to use, or I'll use up an edit to where maybe it's time that I'm comfortable with releasing it. You know what I mean? So like, there's ways that you can get your name out there and still share edits, to still give something without taking away of your creative.
And that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Like at the end of the day, I can still give out edits, because there's going to be personal stuff that I will only know how to use and that will make sense to me. But if I gave it to you, it wouldn't be used in the right manner that my mind works in trying to present that.
Right. Why you made the edit in the first place.
Exactly.
Right. No, that's true.
And go ahead, James.
No, I was just gonna ask. Did you sell your edits on like Crack for DJs? Did you get on Kirkland Clan? How'd you get yourself?
Yeah, I did, and then it wasn't even worth the time anymore, man.
Yeah, gotcha. Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you answered it that way, Serge, because I feel like a lot of the content creators and the podcasts will say, you know, you got to make edits to get your name out there, get them to play it, like sell your edits, this and that. And I agree with you. I like your style. Like, you know, I think that approach has its benefits, and like you're saying, we're all looking for ways to set each other apart. Edits are one of those ways that we can do that. So I'm glad you said that. Brian, I want to come back to you. You've been streaming a lot, man. I think 4 or 5 times a week now?
Yeah, I'm going to stream tonight at 8 o'clock,
so,
8:15 or so.
I hope I'm not keeping you.
Well, no, I'll start a little late tonight. That's fine.
Dude, so you're doing that a lot. You're very comfortable with the Twitch platform. Just talk about how you got started into Twitch, what made you want to do it 4 times a week, and what have you learned? Maybe like a couple tips and tricks.
Well, I mean, I'm still kind of figuring things out, but so far it started because I got so frustrated with Facebook that I had to find something else that I could at least play on. And I mean, Twitch is starting to kind of crack down now as far as they mute a lot of my recorded mixes, but I can still go live pretty fairly. But no, that's kind of it. Twitch helped me out as far as it tapped into my television background, where I was able to kind of create, you know, scenes and stuff like that, and graphics and effects and that type of stuff. But the reason I'm doing it is because I don't have any other way of DJing, and that's what I love. I don't have any gigs right now because sports isn't going on, and you know there weren't any weddings. All my weddings, you know, rescheduled. And so it's really helped me grow as a DJ more than anything, because every night is something different. Like Monday is where I play like my favorite mashups. Today's Throwbacks Thursday. Friday is like my newer top 40 hip hop kind of dance party thing. Saturday is Total Request, where like last Saturday I went from like some jerk requested a Bette Midler song. That's fine. I hit that, but found a way to transition, you know, to Coolio, to Lil Baby. Like, you know, you got to be able to make those transitions to all different formats. And then Sunday I play alternative rock, which I'm not used to DJing that, but it's something I kind of grew up on that I love. And it's difficult to DJ, like to mix those songs. And so it's made me a better DJ. I feel like, you know, just hitting those all those different genres, you know, every week. So I love it.
It's impressive that you're streaming that many days.
Oh yeah.
Well,
how long is it?
Days.
How long is each stream? Like an hour, hour and a half?
Normally 2 hours.
2 hours? Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
You've gone longer than that though on like some of the Friday and Thursday ones.
Yeah, my Thursday, Fridays my Friday, Saturdays are 3 hours. Actually, maybe my Thursdays too. I don't know. I get all mixed up with what day it is anymore. But yeah, a couple days I do 3 hours, but mostly 2 hour sets. But I mean, I'm a high school teacher as well, so like I literally have nothing to do right now.
What?
So DJing is kind of what makes me, you know, what it keeps me busy, and I want to stay fresh in my craft. You know.
Do you ever see your students at your game?
What's that?
What was that, Mike? Excuse me?
No. I was laughing at your question. It's a good question.
I didn't hear it.
I said, you ever see any of your students at the game where you're DJing?
No. Some other teachers like will see me on like the big screen at the shoe, and cool. Like take a picture and, you know, post it and whatnot. But my students haven't seen me at any of the games, but I DJ a lot of things at the school for like, you know, students that reach their, like I just volunteer there. Like students that reach their special ed, math and science.
Okay.
So,
cool. Nice.
So kids that meet their like math goal or reading goal, I'll DJ like a party for them the last period of the day or something like that on a Friday. So that's the way I get to connect with kids.
You're good, man. I'm just here having time.
What do you guys go back?
Go.
No, I was gonna say, do you guys go back to school in August?
We don't know yet.
You don't
I mean,
know
like with anything, it's just they don't want to tell us right now because things change so quick that they don't want to have to, you know, tell us that. Never mind. That's, you know.
It's gonna be interesting. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I just want to know, does teaching, well, two things. Does teaching high school help you with song choices? Because I know you mentioned earlier that you're not as, you know, you have Maddox to help as well, but he's even younger than that. So does DJing high school students, you pick up songs here and there from that?
Absolutely. They write down song, like I have them help me as far as like, hey, I'm DJing a dance for you guys, you know, today after or at the end of school. I need some song requests early in the day to make sure I have them, because they will request stuff I've never heard of. And then when I play it at the dance, it just explodes. Like a song I've never heard of that happened to be on TikTok or something.
Oh, gosh.
And so, yeah, I rely on them for a lot of my high school events, because I still do proms and that type of stuff as well at other schools.
And then what was the other thing I wanted to ask you? Oh, when you were talking about streaming and you mentioned it, I was kind of thinking it's really like a elevated form of practice, right? Because I mean, I'm sure we all set up the decks or whatever it is, and then we play, and then we do something like this. When you're practicing like that, it's really not as good a form of practice, because if you mess up, there's no consequence, right? So even if you're streaming to 1 or 2 people, you have that, or nobody, you have that, well, I'm live, so I don't want to make a mistake. And I feel like that little added bit of pressure makes that form of practice even better than just, you know, setting up the decks and playing for yourself. So if you're watching, definitely try streaming out. If nothing else, is just a better form of practice.
And because it records you, you know, you get to see yourself DJ later, where you're like, man, why do I always have a grumpy face while I'm DJing?
Yeah.
Like, try to be entertaining. Get on the microphone and talk to people. Like, you know me, Mike, as far as you've seen me DJ, I don't say a whole lot on the mic. I typically let the music speak for itself, sort of thing. But to engage viewers on Twitch, at least, you got to talk to them almost every single song. And so it's really helped my mic work. I'll say that.
That's interesting. I know Surge doesn't get on the mic a lot. Is it something that you guys just never wanted to do, or is it something that you just never were comfortable doing?
I've never done it. I mean, yeah, I'm with Brian. Like, I've always I feel like I can make people move it through music, and that's how I always told my story. And I mean, James, over the last, since you started at Dahlia, your mic skills have been incredible ever since. Since James, I mean, came a long way on the mic. James never wanted to get on the mic either.
Right, exactly. That's why I was asking, because obviously if you had wanted to get on the mic by now, you would. But I was just curious on how you felt about it. But you're not opposed to other DJs being on the mic. You don't think it's like the wrong move?
No, like I actually, Nasty Love Dragon. I mean, I told him that's his niche. Like, some of the stuff he does on the mic, he's another guy that could slam songs all day, and I could listen to him all day. But and when I was talking with him, it's like his mic work will let his music speak. That's how he DJs, and that's another incredible way to watching someone DJ. It's a different art, but we're doing the same thing. You know, he's great on the mic. He's great at, you know, making the next song count through his mic.
He gets brought up a lot in our podcast just because of how much potential talent he's got.
Serge, do you like working with an MC, or like would you prefer just have the mic off and then?
No, I actually, when me and Nasty were doing on Sundays, I love that he was with me. I do. Like, I just don't want someone yelling over the mic the whole time. But if we're complimenting each other, sure. There was a guy in Vegas called Mr. Bob. That dude was a beast on the mic. He worked for KLUC also. Him and Warren Peace from Direct Music. They used to do the Raw at the Luxor. Man, this is when Serato and Scratch Live, Serato and Final Scratch. They were using Final Scratch still. But to go watch those guys on a Thursday night, incredible, man. Goosebumps, incredible. Like the way they fed off of each other, it was a show. I mean, they were amazing together.
Warren Peace appeared on the Road podcast. Oh man, maybe 6 to 9 months ago. And if you guys are into DJ podcasts, the Road podcast is great. But that episode specifically, and Serge, you can speak to this. Warren Peace is a genius. Like when records were like, he almost created like the first online database of like MP3s for DJs. And then like Krupp was talking about, I forget what the night was called, but at the Luxor, was it Raw or?
Yeah, Raw.
Yeah. Those nights, just hearing him talk about it are awesome. So if you're interested in what Serge is talking about with respect to Warren Peace, who's a legend, definitely check out the Road podcast and his episode. Just Google it and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, I actually went to his record store when he had it in Vegas, and me and him were talking about a lot of stuff as far as like the Lethal Weapons and the Fat Waxes and how all those came about and what was their motive, who could get the record. You know, like let's just say In the Club came out. People would, back then when we could only get records and remix services, it was like between 3 remix services and who had In the Club pressed on that vinyl is why they would buy that vinyl. Maybe you only needed one song off that vinyl, but that was the biggest song and everybody needed it. So what they would do is buy that vinyl. You know,
Wow.
That's how people would buy stuff quicker on different services than the other.
Any more questions for these guys, Krupp? Or we can kind of switch over and let these guys tell us where we can find them. We kind of did that, but more so online.
We can do do we have any 614 releases or?
Yeah, actually, you might have the 614 release if I remember correctly.
Yeah, my EP comes out tomorrow. It's been a long time coming.
You're having the launch party at Dahlia for Activated. Yeah. When do you play?
I'm not even kidding. I think we have 15 DJs playing at Dolly tomorrow between the patio, Mike's playing. And it's going to be really cool, man. There's going to be house music. I think they're doing more of like a tropical and tech house feel on the patio, and then inside it's going to be more of like a bass-driven house, maybe some future house. But yeah, it's just, I got a 3-song EP releasing that I worked on during the break. I could have released it earlier, but what was the point? I wanted to wait till we got back. But yeah, I'm excited. It's the EP's called Reborn. It's essentially just describes my finding and new sound design and new experimenting with bass house, and hope you guys like it. And then Chris Gonzo just asked Surge, where's the chicken scratch vinyl at?
What does he mean? Where is that?
I don't know what that means.
Well,
that's probably one of his vinyls that he thinks you stole. That to me, that sounds like Gonzo.
Yeah, it's calling you out.
Chicken Scratch was another remix service.
Oh, well, okay.
He had the X mixes all the time, right? I asked him about it. I forget what he said.
Gonzo?
Yeah.
Gonzo's got everything for the record.
Yeah, X mix, probably Funky Mix, Street Tracks, all those remixes back in the day. It was like Christmas every time I go to the mailbox for when those came in.
And then on rounding us out for the 614 releases, we had Stardust by Intel. I think he's released a track the last 3 weeks. Again, you guys, I say it almost every episode, big fan of Intel. The show supports him as much as we can. So again, he released Stardust on Spotify. Oh, Carl, I meant to ask, where are you putting Reborn out at? And was there any strategy that between the release? I know this is E-Force weekend, we talked about that, but now that you don't have that, was there any strategy behind the release and how you're doing it?
Yeah, so essentially the release was supposed to go with Forest. That was the original plan, but it didn't work out. But it's going to be worldwide on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, all those. And then it's got early support from David Guetta, Afrojack.
Huge.
Nice.
And who was the other one? I don't know how to say his name. It's Wyvez.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I'll post the link all over my social media tomorrow where you can listen and download. So
I think there's a delay coming through. So as soon as I think you're finished talking, I'm
my
talking
bad.
and I hear you talk. No, it's not your fault. But I'm saying, of course I lost my train of thought. Oh, I asked Intel on the show before, what's the best way to support his music? And I'm gonna ask you the same question. What's your dream? If everyone who's your friend who wants to support you, what do they do? Do they like the video? Do they add it to their Spotify playlist? Do they share it to their Twitter? What's the best way to help you out with regards to your EP?
Yeah, so not all of my production is going to be something that you can just play on the clubby weekend. So I understand some DJs, it's just like when you go to a music site and you look through stuff that you may or may not use. But as I look at how my friends support me. They add my song on Spotify. They add them to their playlists. They'll go check it out and they'll go get it on Beatport. And then if anything else is sharing it to their Facebook, my friend just put out this new EP, check it out. Or I'll even take constructive criticism because everybody looks for something different in people's music, but I'll be happy to take feedback. You know me.
What gives you a better percentage, Beatport or iTunes?
I don't even know, man. I'll be honest with you. I signed it to a label, so there's where.
What does that mean for people like me? What does that mean?
It just means some of my oldest production tracks, for example, My Type, Roar, some of those older tracks, I didn't see money for 2 years.
Oh,
So it takes a while not only to build the sales up, but usually labels get, 80% at least, depending on who you sell it with. Now, the way you can make really good money is royalties on other stuff, like commercials, which I've done that before. One of my songs in the past has got played on the WWE Diva thing, one of their episodes, and that was
Which
like a
one?
big payday for me. Oh my gosh, I forget what episode it is. I'll have to search my emails. I'll share it with you. We can bring it up sometime. But it was just like a commercial or one of their intros for one of their episodes, and that was like a nice unexpected payday. So that is the label going out of their way to hustle for you. So we'll see. It's hard to tell. Like you never know what track will hit or like be a big festival trend for DJs to use, or
Cool. And back to our guests, Brian, Surge, where can people find you on the internet and then in real life?
On the internet, as far as Twitch and Twitter, it's at DJ Brian Daze, spelling DAZE, just like it is on the screen. And then I guess hopefully you'll see me at a sports arena at some point soon.
I hope so, man.
For sure. Surge?
Sergio.
it's my turn.
Did you freeze?
No.
He's good.
That was good. I was like, did we lose him? Dude, that was trippy.
It's DJ Surge across every platform, and Fireproof Friday, Saturday, and that's it. I mean, that's it for right now. BBR Sundays.
One of the longest running Sunday parties in the game right now.
Dude,
BBR.
yeah, I heard it's doing really well again too. It's crazy how many people go out on it. First of all, when I tell people that don't understand like my schedule or the DJ scene at all, and I'm like, and I talk about BBR Sunday, they're like, people go out on Sundays? It's like, yeah, a lot of people do.
Brian, you probably have an interesting like dynamic with that, whereas like you probably have like your DJ friends who are all up late, staying out, going out every night, versus like your teacher friends who I'm sure have a different lifestyle.
They're in bed by 8, 9 o'clock at night and that type of stuff. No, it's definitely two groups of different people, but I get along with everybody, and I don't even stay up that late anymore because since I haven't been doing bar gigs, I mean, I'm typically getting in bed by midnight anyway. So
still a little bit later than
that's a question I wanted to ask everybody here. Is like, do you try to stay on a certain schedule with sleep when you're not on the nights that you're not playing? Do you try to get to bed earlier, or do you just try to keep it consistent?
Surge.
the search.
I just go to bed when
Like, I guess I'll go to bed. I'll get 3 hours of sleep tonight.
Yeah, I mean, my schedule is pretty much its own bar schedule. During the week, I try to go to bed earlier, but
yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
that's good. Mike, I know you're up late.
Yeah, I don't require a whole lot of sleep. I hope that never catches up to me. So when it's normal times, I wake up at 8 a.m. Like my alarm goes off at 8 a.m. and I'm usually up by like 7:55. I'm one of those dudes like expecting the alarm. But nowadays with Call of Duty and just not having as much to do, it's a little bit later than normal. But yeah, I don't need a whole lot of sleep. So whenever I get to bed and then whenever 8 o'clock hits, I usually wake up bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, drink my water, do some yoga, work out, and then tackle the day. Works out for me.
All right, Brian's got a live stream to do, but Surge, Brian, it's been awesome having you guys on. Like Surge,
thanks for having me on.
It's awesome.
Yeah, guys, I'm looking forward to cutting this one up.
Yeah, like I said, Surge, I've come to respect you more and more over the years, and learning from you has been great. We've rocked. I can't imagine how many parties we've just absolutely rocked together, and I can't wait for Gallup Park and whatever the future brings. And Brian, I hope you get to play some sporting events soon, man.
Me too, man. Me too. But thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thank you guys for being here and sharing the tips, man. Like I said, tons of experience here. You guys see how much fun I'm having. I can barely stop asking questions. But if you are watching on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe for more content like this, as well as gear reviews, tutorials, all that stuff. And is that it? Oh, yeah. Tell us in the comments what we should have on next, what you guys want us to do, feedback, constructive, hopefully. And we'll see you next week, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I actually know the guest this week. So because we actually have a little schedule going on, Krept. I know we put this one together.
Pretty impressive, especially because it's called the Columbus DJ Podcast. And in my head, I'm like, how many other DJs are there?
We got a bunch.
There's so many, yeah.
We got Chang, who I mentioned earlier. He can talk about booking DJs as well as DJing, as well as being as part of like a DJ singer combo. So a lot of questions for him. And then we have Whitney Taylor-Ray, who'll be our second woman DJ guest. And
Nice.
She does cruise ships, has spun over in the Middle East, and spins here in Columbus as well. So a bunch of content and great stuff we can ask her as well. So everybody, I think that's it. Enjoy the rest of your nights. Thank you for being here. Peace. We out.
All right.
See you guys.
See you.
Thank you.